Hello, my name is Srishti Kotulkar, and as a part of CIS C691 class, we were supposed to, for an A03 assignment, we were supposed to choose an AI agent that we can work on and create an agentic app. So let me show. So for this assignment, I chose a news digest agent project for the agent AI course. So while thinking of the topic, the problem for this agent would be solving is like everyday professionals would be spending like 30 to 60 minutes browsing multiple sites in order to keep themselves updated. So the complete idea was around creating an agent which can automate this entire process, which can fetch news from multiple sources, summarizes the articles using AI, and delivers a personalized digest right in the email. So this is the agent that I've chosen. I've added a technical report MD, wherein it gives an executive summary of the project, and it also summarizes why I've chosen this topic and what this topic aims to resolve. So the whole process, my agent has automated this entire process, aims in automating this entire process. It fetches news from multiple sources, summarizes the article using AI, and delivers a personalized digest in the email account. The whole process takes like 30 seconds, and you can also curate the news based on the topics that you are interested on. So let me just give you a quick overview of my architecture, and then I will give you a demo of how this is actually working. So to give a system architecture overview, I'm going to first show my architecture in terms of how does my workflow looks like. So let me explain the architecture. I'm basically using the three-layer architecture design, and at the bottom of this we have a data layer. This connects to the news API which I'm using, and then it fetches article based on configured topics. Like for this project, I use, for example, artificial intelligence, technology, and machine learning. Then there is a middle section, which is like the processing layer. The processing layer does the intelligent work. Basically, it removes the duplicate articles, then uses an extractive summarization algorithm to select like three most important sentences from each article. And then, of course, there's a top section, which is like the presentation layer. Uh, the presentation layer formats everything in a format, a beautiful HTML format, which we can say, and delivers it to the Gmail's SMTP server. So it also gets saved in the backup in the HTML file locally. This layered approach means I can easily swap components. For example, if I have to give you, I could change from News API to Twitter without touching, the summarization logic. The design pattern that I'm using is RAG combined with sequential processing. RAG is important because news requires real-time data that's beyond any AI model training cutoff actually. So that's why I'm using that. So this was a little overview about my architecture, and then let me just walk you through the codes that I have. So my first main code is the news API code, which is this. So let me walk through the code quickly. Here's the main agent file. It's about like 250 lines of Python. Then first we load the configuration in the environment variable. This keeps the API keys secure and separate from the code basically. So here's the news fetching topics, which I chose were technology and other related things. Then here's the for each topic I have tried to query it through the news API, filter by English language, and then sort based on the publication date. We'll see that in I have error handlings here. If one topic fails, the agent continues with the other. So this is graceful like degradation, I would say. So this is my custom summarization. If I move forward, originally I planned to use OpenAI GPT 3.5, but I'd hit the API quota limits during the development, so I pivoted the extraction summarization. It splits the text into sentences. As you can see on the screen, it splits the text into sentences, scores, and each sentences based on the keywords importance and selects the top three. So these are the top indicators of my words. If I have to say sentence, announce, develop, research, technology, for example. So that's how I'm kind of breaking it down. So I think this approach has a zero ongoing cost, and that's why I've used this, and it's actually faster since there's no external API being called. Finally, here's the email delivery thing towards the end. Hmm. The email delivery, it uses the Python's built-in SMTP library. It is connecting to the Gmail securely with SSL and sends the formatted digest. In some time, I'm going to show how it looks. If emails fails for any reason, it saves to an HTML file as a backup. That's how it works. So now let me just show you a live example of how I did this. So this is my this was my code. So I've run, first of all, I got into the uh environment and and then I connected, and then I ran my Python file of News Digest API. Now it's connecting to an API, it's showing it's connecting, then it's showing it's summarizing. Then the topic that I chose was AI, machine learning, and intelligence, maximum of five articles. And then it's fetching news, and it fetches news, few unique articles, and then it is creating an email digest, and then it's sending you an email. So I've used my email ID, and I've also saved the backup in order to show how it looks like. In if you go here, you can see in the JSON format, what is the format being used. So just to give you a little bit idea about how it looks on my Gmail, the moment I did this, it shooted me an email with today's date, the topics that I've chosen. This I've received as a daily news digest subject line, and then based on my topics that I chose, this is the first news that I've got. A little summarization preview and the key points of this rule. If I have to read the full article, I can click here and I can specifically go on that articles. Then the other thing is why clinicians, this is the other news based on my topic chosen, and this is how it's giving me top 5 news based on the topics that I chose. So as we can see, going back to the code, um, it's starting up. First, it connected to the news API success. Now it's fetching the article. It's like I told, I've configured 3. I found 5 articles. Now it's deduplicating. And then I've had 14 articles, but removed the duplicates. So leaving us with 5 unique ones. So this is the summarization real time, which is happening through the code and processing article 1 of the 5, article 2 and 3. Each summary takes about 2 seconds. In the original OpenAI version, this would have been longer, and the cost money per article. And it's creating an HTML digest. The digest was also saved to local, which I showed you in the JSON format. So this is how it is. Email result I've already shown. And then in order to make this thing easy, I'm also trying to use Streamlight dashboard so that it can be hosted in our front-end platform. So in order to, create an interface, I created an app.py file which helps us in creating the front end for this application. So this is a built with Streamlit, same agent logic underneath, but now with a modern like web interface. So when we run this complete when we ran this code of app.py, which helps us in creating an interface, it opened in a local server. A platform which can give me basically a visibility on how this will look like on an interface level. So this is how it's going to look like. It will on the left hand side, it's telling me what are the topics that I've chosen, maximum articles that I can get, and then when I click on generate, it's going to generate and share it over the email. So I also have given an adjustment to the article counts. When we click on generate digest, there will be a progress bar. Like, let me just click here. So there is a progress bar which is coming, and it says, 5 articles generated. So each article is its own, here, if you can see down, each article has its own summary card, and I can click and read on the full document, and it will take me to the entire link. So this is just for an easy deployable and a front end facing application. I created this. The key points that I noted here is I didn't rewrite the agent. The same data fetching, summarization, and processing logic works for both command line version and the web interface. That's I think the power of layered architecture. Going back to my VS Code, few of the challenges that I faced was the biggest challenge was the OpenAI API quota. My initial design used GPT's 3.5 for generative summarization, but I hit the usage limit, of course. So instead of that, I implemented, extractive summarization. This selects actual sentences from articles rather than generating new text. The benefits of it was faster, it was free. The summaries are factually grounded, is what I saw, and the source material was not hallucinated. It was like mentioned. The second challenge that I faced was email authentication. Gmail doesn't accept regular passwords for SMTP, so I had to generate a app-specific password through Google security settings. third challenge was the article deduplication. When we search multiple topics, I would say the same article can appear like multiple times in a different news and based on different publications. So that was one challenge which I thought if we can remove and retain an article, that would be better. I think the challenges were something that was I was able to find my way, and there was a plan of how I can switch over. Then I've added a technical report which summarizes everything in my assignment, including my architecture, what each code summarizes, what each code generates, and the summarization algorithm uses what kind of scoring, sentence mentioning, announce, develop, research, or prioritize. Error handling is everywhere. If the news API fails for some reason for one topic, the agent continues with other. The HTML email uses inline CSS because email clients don't support external style sheets, maybe. And everything is configurable through environment variables, so you never have to touch the code to change topics or settings. Um, I think to wrap up, I've tried to build an autonomous agent that solves a real problem. I've tried to include the workflow document and the uh, workflow diagram also. I've tried to show how the three-layer architecture makes it maintainable and extensible. The pivot from generative to extractive summarization shows problem solving under constraints. And the dual interface commands line and web proves the architectural flexibility. So what I've learned is simple solutions can be highly effective, and constraints breed creativity. Sometimes the best answer isn't the most complex one, I would say. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.